understood maryada is our maryada we impose on Shri Ram. ये सही है, ये गलत है. And what do we say? कृष्णा तो रूल ब्रेक कर सकता है, but श्री राम नहीं कर सकते ब्रेक. The end goal is dharma. The end goal is righteousness. The end goal is sustenance and thriving of the society.
Who plays the role of Rama becomes a subject of controversy with Ranbir Kapoor in the making of this film also.
What was Sri Ram like? He was dark complexion. He was not fair. He was not a chocolatey hero. He's extremely well built, long arms, very well structured, broad chested, Simha Skandha, shoulders like lion. So from that perspective, does Ranveer really fit that role? I don't know.
Air Marshal A.K. Bharti's quote. He quoted the Ramcharitmanas.
विनय न माने जलधि जड़ भय 3 दिन बीत बोले राम सकोप तब भय बिन होए न प्रीत.
Just because we have not been behaving like you, we are not a rogue state, that doesn't mean we are weak. It is our goodness that we haven't behaved like that. If we need to, you will get destroyed.
When they say हम एक ही लोग थे अब लड़ रहे हैं.
How do the cricketers behave? They all want to play here ना. शाहिद अफरीदी, वो सबके सब देखो. Do they feel the same way as we feel कि अरे ये तो हमारे लोग हैं, हमें ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए? उनके मन में कभी ये बात आती है? जैसे दुर्योधन के मन में कभी नहीं आई.
Namaste, Jai Hind. You're watching or listening to another edition of the ENA podcast with Smita Prakash. The podcast today is about what lessons we can learn from Indian epics when it comes to war and peace. My guest today is Ami Ganatra, the author of 2 best-selling books, Mahabharata Unraveled, Lesser Known Facets of a Well-Known History, and Ramayana Unraveled, Lesser Known Facets of Rishi Valmiki's epic. She has taught and spoken about yoga, history, and Indic knowledge on multiple forums. Here's also a disclaimer. In this podcast, we will draw parallels between the Ramayana, Mahabharata, and India's Operation Sindoor. The aim is to reflect on what we can learn from our rich history. The discussion is not intended to target any religion, caste, or community. Ami, thank you so much for being part of the podcast. You are an author of books. I've seen some of your talks that you do. So a lot, in the introduction I said I want to talk about Operation Sindoor and also about what we can learn from our epics when it comes to strategic thinking, about national security, foreign policy. The foreign ministers, even the external affairs ministers, even written a book, as you're aware, about the lessons to be learned from Ramayana. But before that, I just want to ask you, did you see the trailer of the film Ramayana?
Briefly, yes.
Briefly, like, what do you think is, why do you think that even to date, it's valid for every generation, for hundreds of years? Why is there still curiosity to know about interpretations of the Ramayana?
I think that premonition कि ये इतना लंबा चलेगा, that happened already during Ramayana, the composition of Ramayana. Valmiki Rishi, when he was inspired to write the tale, the history of the king who was contemporary to him. Valmiki Rishi was present when Sri Ram was the Raja, right? And he had an inspiration that I need to write his life story. Tabhi, the way it is given in the text is that Brahmaji says that whatever you compose, it will only be the truth. You will be able to see his tree, his life in on your hand like you see a fruit. Panav amla kamiva, like an amla put on your hand, you will see his life, and this story will endure. So he says, yavat sthasyanti girayah saritahcha mahitale. Jab tak parvat rahenge, as long as the mountains stand, as long as the rivers flow, this story, Ramayana katha lokeshu pracharishyati, this story will endure amongst the people. Now, this is true for Ramayana, this is true for Mahabharata as well, right? What are these stories? These are stories about our ancestors, people with the same impulses, Kam, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mad, Matsarya, right? Desires, jealousy, greed, all those things which we have even today. We talk about man being evolved and technology and all that. So yes, technology has evolved, lifestyles have changed, but the core, the inherent swabhava is the same. We still fight because of the desires. We still fight because of greed. It is still jealousy which take people down, right? So these things haven't changed. Hence, when we see the lives of these ancestors of ours, we connect to it because we see them also going through. It's not, although we call them Bhagwan, Sri Krishna, Sri Ram, they've endured so much in life. It's not as if life has been easy, right? They have ups, they have downs. They go through struggles, they go through sangharshas, and how they deal with their lives. They are also in the dharma sankat. They are going through ethical dilemmas. We go through ethical dilemmas every single day, right? So there is this connection. It is a real story of our ancestors. And the psychological aspects of these stories, we connect to it even today.
But with this film and even with the earlier ones, every time when you talk, I played Rama in dance dramas.
Arey wah.
And my thing was that itna facial expression change mat karo. I was told because he has a very staid expression, right, all through. Whether he's happy or sad, there's not much of.
But I'll tell you
expression
what,
change.
that's not true.
No, kya?
So what has happened with Ramayana is this, that we have just not engaged with Valmiki Ramayana the way we should. There have been so many retellings because these stories connect,
Correct,
right?
yeah.
There have been so many retellings that Valmiki Ramayana mein kya tha, people don't even know. And the image of Sri Ram they have is basically from Ramanand Sagar's Ramayana.
Or
right?
else Amar Chitra Katha.
Amar Chitra Katha.
Blue.
So yeah, so one is that color of his, but also that expression. Arun Govilji is what we think about.
Yeah.
No expressions, very stable. But if you see the characterization of Sri Ram in Valmiki Ramayana, it is not like that.
Okay.
He is so expressive. He's so romantic, like real romance. The romance between Sri Ram and Sita Ma over the Vanvas. So except for the last year when Sita ji is kidnapped, the 13 years that they are together, the kind of affection he shows, she also shows, but he shows the way he tells her, the way he interacts with her. He'll tell her so many times that you are more dear to me than anything else. Without you, I don't even want the Swarga. With you here, in that when they are in Chitrakoot and there's this nice Mandakini river flowing over there, and वो ऐसे दिखाया कि वो क्रीड़ा कर रहे हैं पानी में. And he's looking at this nature and this beautiful wife of his, and he's like, with you around me and this everything being so beautiful, I don't even desire Ayodhya anymore.
Oh.
That is Sri Ram. So romantic. Like there is this one dialogue which I had said once, which gone like viral. He tells her when she is convincing Sri Ram to take her to the Vanvas, and he says, no, it's a very dangerous place. And she becomes very upset and she starts crying and she's like, if you don't take me, I will give up my life. And he says, Are, Devi tava bate dukhe na swargam api na bhiro chahiye.
Don't need.
Without you, I don't even want the heaven. You come with me. Saha dharmachari bhava. You become my saha dharmachari. So this is Sri Ram. This is his love aspect. Now when Sita ji is taken away, you should see how that man has collapsed. How he cries. How he rushes, how he becomes mad when he doesn't get to know where Sita Ma is. So there is a part where when Lakshman ji and Sri Ram come back to that kutia and they don't see Sita Ma. So he's like, Arey baapre, where is she? So even before that, he tells Lakshman, you've left her and come. Now if we go back and I don't see her, I will not be able to live. There is no way I will be able to live if I don't see that smiling face of Sita, he says. Of course they go back. They can't find her. So he's like running around everywhere trying to find where Sita Ma is. He's running around talking to the Parvat. Arey, have you seen my Sita? He's running around talking to that tree, Kadamba tree. It is said, and he says, hey, have you seen my Kadamba Priya? Because Sita ji loved the Kadamba flowers.
Kadamba Vanavasini, that thing.
Correct. So he says that she loved your flowers. My Kadamba Priya, my dear who loved your flowers. Have you seen her anywhere? He runs around talking, like trying to call out the Shardula, which is lion. And he says, hey, Shardula, don't be afraid. I will not do anything to you. Have you seen my Sita? He's like a madman running around to find Sita Ma. And eventually he becomes so angry when he doesn't see her. And he's like, if I don't see her, Nashyami Sacharacharam, I'll destroy everything. This is him, who is extremely expressive. He's not one of those no expressions, nothing. No.
So we can expect Ranbir Kapoor to be doing that totally in love, obsessive
if
he comes
they
up to
have
it.
referred to the Valmiki Ramayana. That is the whole.
Is there any difference in Kamban?
There is a lot of difference. So, in terms of the characterization of Sri Ram, that's what I understand.
Okay.
I think what has happened is Valmiki ji has written the history of a Raja of his time who's so great that there is definitely Devatva indicated in him. But afterwards, when Kavis have deliberated on Sri Ram and meditated on him and written about him, they are talking about Bhagwan, right? And there is a certain way they want to see the Bhagwan.
Correct, yes.
So, uske karan, there is a bit of a change where Bhagwan cannot behave like this, right? Bhagwan can't be saying all these romantic dialogues. So, there is, in one of, when they are in that 13 year of Vanvas, no, actually, after they come back, after Sita ji has come back and all that, and they're going back to Ayodhya. So the scene is that he asks her to sit on her lap. Okay, and I said it in one podcast, and people were like, she's making it sound as if it's a love story. But it is.
It is.
It is. And they both are so loving. In fact, there is a dialogue which Valmiki ji says. So when they come back to Ayodhya after their marriage, again, Valmiki Ramayana, there is no Swayamvar. Okay, so there is no that love before Swayamvar and all that. Aisa nahi hai. It is just that there is a yagna going on. Sri Ram has been taken there by Vishwamitra ji. And Sri Ram, Vishwamitra ji tells Janak to show him the Shivadhanush. He sees the Shivadhanush where then Janak ji is saying that so many people have tried, they've not been able to break it. Now I have taken this pratigya that I'll only marry my daughter to somebody who puts the pratyancha over it. Sri Ram is not even concerned about all that. He doesn't even know that he'll get married that way. He picks up the Dhanusha like a warrior would out of that curiosity. But very nicely he picks up, he puts the Pratyancha. Then Janak is very happy. Now he's like, oh, now I'm going to marry my daughter. And Sri Ram is like, oh, but you need to take permission from my dad. And that's when then Dashrath ji is called. So
that Vatika mein jo mile the वगैरह वो नहीं है.
वो इसमें नहीं है. वो वाल्मीकि रामायण में है. Very beautiful episode, but not in Valmiki Ramayana. So Valmiki Ramayana, also they fall in love.
My childhood has been a lie. Okay.
Oh, I have to tell you one more thing for which you will definitely say this. But this, their love flourishes when Sri Ram and Sita ji are back in Ayodhya. And before the Vanvas, the time they spend. So Valmiki tells us that over those few years that they have spent, they both are falling madly in love with each other because of the Rupa, because of the Guna and all of that. And he says that love has become so strong that Akhyatam Hridayam Hridi, their hearts are talking. They don't even need words to talk. This is the kind of love. So no, Sri Ram is very, very expressive. And when he gets angry, again, what has happened is in the later retellings, the anger of Sri Ram is usually shown to Varun. Ravan and Varun. But Sri Ram also gets angry at others. Okay, and all those times when Sri Ram has become angry,
he's impatient with Lakshman. He's tolerant with Surpanakha, but he's angry only during war. Even then, it is very mildly shown.
He is the one who tells Lakshman to cut the ears and nose of Surpanakha.
Okay,
he is the one who says. He gets very angry at Sugriv when he forgets to keep the promise and stuff. So even when he's angry. In fact, when Narad ji in the beginning, he's talking about Sri Ram, like giving the basic description.
But you never see the Rudra Rupa in any of the depictions that one has seen.
Yeah, we don't, unfortunately. I mean, it's not Rudra, but he gets angry. And how is his anger? So Narad ji tells us that he is a Jitak Krodha. He has control over his anger. But Yasya Bibhyati Devaha Jata Roshasya. When he becomes angry, then even Devtas become angry. When Devtas become scared, So he's like, when he's a Jita Krodha, he has control over his anger. But when he gets angry, even Devtas become scared. That is the kind of Kalagni, that is his anger. When he becomes angry.
Interesting. You know, about who plays the role of Rama becomes a subject of controversy. It is a lot of burden on who plays the role of Lord Rama, right? In the making of this film also.
So again, they have chosen a very chocolatey hero to go with what is the regular image. Also, I think this backlash to Prabhas playing Adipurush mein Ram might have led to that. But again, if you see Valmiki Ramayana, what was Sri Ram like? He was dark complexion. He was not fair, one. Second, he was not a chocolatey hero. He's extremely well built. So the description of his physique is given to us. Muscle man, Gudha Jatru, यहाँ पे एकदम जो muscle लोग होते हैं ना, bodybuilders and stuff. He's like that. Long arms, very well structured, broad chested, Sinha Skandha, shoulders like lion. So from that perspective, does Ranveer really fit that role? I don't know. For a Ram, yeah, maybe he acts well. But the physique of Shriram is also not we think it is. He's an extremely strong, well-built man.
I would think the face, yes. As
Could be, हाँ.
No, that the straight nose.
Could be. Very well structured. So we are told Sulalatar. Big forehead, but very well proportioned forehead. Priyadarshan and very good looking. That is what they definitely say. So maybe from that perspective, yes.
Okay. Chaliye. Now let's get on to Operation Sindoor and what we can learn from strategy. So the idea of from our epics, what do we learn? There's this term which is said that this phrase "Shanti ki ka antim upay yudh hi hai." Do you think what is it? What are the lessons about war and peace that one can draw from both the epics? Unfair to ask you about both, but one by one, if you can.
I think in terms of learnings, both the epics are very clear. As in, the lessons are similar when it comes to strategy and all of that. Although we have a very different idea about them. We feel like one is all black and white and one is not black and white. Aisa nahi hai. But as far as war goes, both Mahabharat and Ramayana doesn't have discourses as such, but Mahabharat has explicit discourses on strategy, on war and all of that.
Sure.
And they all say, Varjaniya Yuddha Sada. As long as possible, avoid a war. Because you don't know what the outcome is going to be. What should you do instead? That doesn't mean peace for the sake of peace. Yeah? You have to sometimes show your strength. You have to look out for your interest. But what are the tools for it? So we have Samdhan and Danda Bheda, right? It says, if the first three, first try Sam, then try Dan. Bhed is a part of it. So if you can win by Bhed, then avoid the war. If you can win without a Yuddha, that is better. That is a better kind of Yuddha.
You're talking about Ramayana or you're talking about Mahabharata?
Both. So the philosophy is what we see more in Mahabharata. But even in Ramayana, till the very end, Sri Ram has given an option to Ravan that you don't have to fight. Send Sita ji back and it's okay.
Yeah.
He makes the last attempt by sending Angad.
Before that he sends, correct, okay.
So Hanumanji has to already gone, right? And Hanumanji, maybe at some point we'll talk about Hanumanji as a messenger, which even Jayashankar ji talks about.
Has written, yes.
But Hanumanji has gone. Hanumanji has also shown his parakram to tell him, Baba, look at our strength. Okay, you can't take us for granted. Uske dimag mein nahi jata hai. Angad has gone. Uske dimag mein nahi jata hai. Then what do? When your Samdan, Danda, everything falls.
And then you've used Chalkapat also earlier in other things, the Vali Sugriv.
Of course. See, whatever needs to be done for Dharma Sansthapan needs to be done. Full stop. In both the epics, it's the same. So, for example, in Ramayana, we talk about Sri Ram as Maryada Purushottam. Okay. Is he Maryada Purushottam? Yes. Okay. But does Valmiki Ramayana talk of him as, does it use the term Maryada Purushottam? No. In Valmiki Ramayana, Sri Ram is called Ramo Vigrahavan Dharmaha. Sri Ram is a personification of Dharma.
Okay, what's the difference?
The difference is Maryada, the way we see. It can still be Maryada, but the way we have understood Maryada is our Maryada we impose on Sri Ram. ये सही है, ये गलत है. ये सही है, ये गलत है ना? And what do we say? Krishna तो rule break कर सकता है, but Sri Ram नहीं कर सकते break. That is our understanding. But that's, again, he is not that black and white. The end goal is Dharma. The end goal is righteousness. The end goal is sustenance and thriving of the society.
So you can take an adharma route to dharma?
What is adharma? That is itself a question. Okay. So in the case of the Valivad, let's discuss the Valivad. Okay. How Sri Ram does that, right? Of course, he has a pact with Sugriv that you help me find my wife and I will help you get your Rajya back. And both your Rajya and your wife back. Now, when the war, when Sugriv and Vali are fighting, and when Vali is hit by Sri Ram piche se, Vali falls, and then he sees, oh, it's Sri Ram who's done it. This question about dharma is actually asked by Vali. He says, Arey, I thought, whatever I had heard of you, I thought you were people of dharma, you were righteous people, but clearly not. You're only wearing a dress of a dharmic person, but otherwise you're adharmi, because why else will you kill me from behind? There's no enmity between us. All that dharma, he's doing. Shri Ram says, what dharma are you talking about? Do you know what is dharma? If you knew what is dharma, you wouldn't be doing what you've done. You have never walked on the path of dharma. You've only done a dharma, and now you are telling me what is dharma. If only you knew Raj Dharma, the duty of a Raja, the kartavya of a Raja, you would have done exactly what I have done. So this question you're asking me, aage se mara, piche se mara, actually doesn't hold. Why? And then he explains. He says, first of all this area comes under Ayodhya. We are Chakravartins. So it is our responsibility that wherever we see adharma happening, we have to take action. Bharat is the Raja in the city. I am his representative here. So if there is adharma happening here, I have to tackle it. Now, what is the adharma that you have done? Sri Ram explains that. Sri Ram says, a younger brother is like a son on a shishya to the elder brother, which makes the wife of the younger brother a daughter-in-law to the elder brother, right? For a person who violates his daughter, his mother, his younger brother's wife, because she's also like a daughter, that person, there is only one danda for that person. Tasya dandam mrutah smrutah. The Smritis tell us that there is only mrityu dand for a person like this. That your action of taking away the wife of your younger brother by force is such a big adharma that any good Raja who knows Raj Dharma will only have given you a mrityu danda. I have given you that mrityu danda. Now
I'm
don't
going
argue.
to interrupt you here just to make it relevant to Operation Sindhu.
Yes.
That's why I want to keep coming back and forth. Bilawal Bhutto turns around and says, रात के अंधेरे में कौन अटैक करता है? मतलब trying to say you have broken the rules of engagement, that रात को तुम चोरी छिपे आके हमारे टारगेट्स पे मार देते हो. I'm not saying at any point of time कि ये वाली सुग्रीव वाला पैरेलल ड्रॉ कर रही हूँ, बट अधर्म इसमें है कि नहीं है?
एक तो from what base is Bilawal Bhutto talking about dharma? It's the same Wali type, no? यार आपने केवल अधर्मी किया है पूरा टाइम. You sent terrorists to kill those innocent people in Pahalgam asking their religion, right? You have a policy where you want to destroy us with 1,000 cuts. And you are talking about rules. Baba, rules कब होता है? When both sides agree on something and both sides live by it. If one side is not living by rules, the other side has no responsibility to follow that rule because that rule is invalid judged by the other person violating it. So if you have never lived by rules, what rule are you talking about? We are going to do what is in our interest to protect our people because that is the dharma of our government. And for that, we will do whatever we need to do. Pakistan has no locus standi to talk about it.
Once you've got into war, then your question of only victory at that, because you have, in your mind, you have decided, or as a country, you've decided that it's a dharmic battle also.
Absolutely.
In one way, right? It's not, when I say dharmic, I don't mean Hindu-Muslim dharmic, but the dharma of a country and of your national security strategy is to win at that stage. So this is justified and valid.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As I said, even in wars, there are rules which people have laid down. Now, it is the prerogative of both sides to follow those rules, right? But here, these guys have been doing these small wars on us anyways. It was our stupidity that we did not already consider the act of terror as war while knowing that this is Pakistan's strategy, right? We've always known it. Finally, we have decided and we have announced that any act of terror is a war against the state, which it is. So if it's a war, we will do what we need to do to protect us.
So we're still sticking with Ramayana. We'll get to Mahabharata later. Can we get that thing which this at the briefing, Air Marshal A.K. Bharti's quote, he quoted the Ramcharitramanas.
क्या संदेश दिया जा रहा है, तो मैं बस आपको रामचरितमानस की एक कुछ पंक्ति याद दिलाऊंगा, आप समझ जाएंगे। तो याद कीजिए वो पंक्ति जो है, विनय न माने जलधि जड़, भय 3 दिन बीत, बोले राम सकोप तब, भय बिन होए न प्रीत। तो समझदार के लिए इशारा ही काफी है।
So explain this to me as to why do you think that the Air Marshal said this at the press briefing, and there was like clapping among journalists out there. I think many of them felt it at that stage. So explain to me what this meant for Operation Sindoor.
So the way I see it, right, now I'm no geopolitical expert. I am going to share my thoughts as a citizen of the country who observes all these things. That's all. Till now, we have never inflicted such kind of damage on Pakistan for a terror activity. Never, right? We will try to talk to them peacefully. We will tell them, "Arey, aap terrorist ko wapas bhej do." We will share all the proofs with you, dossiers, all that, right? When we struck, iske pehle, when we did the strikes, it was also only on the terror locations, not on the army assets. Never, right? But was it being a deterrent? No. How do you stop people from behaving, or rather, how do you ensure that people behave that is in your interest? Sometimes you have to create a deterrent. And what is that deterrent? By inflicting damage. And by showing them that, Baba, just because we have not been behaving like you, we are not a rogue state, we don't behave like you, that doesn't mean we are weak. It is our goodness that we haven't behaved like that. If we need to, you will get destroyed. The day we decide to show our anger, you will get destroyed. It's only then the other person really respects you.
Respect comes from bhai?
Sometimes you have to show bhai. Pakistan, usually the kinds of words...
No, feel bhai. Because bhai, unko laga na, dar.
हाँ?
Bhai, he says, bhai binu hoi na preeti.
हाँ, okay. So what is this doha about? Right? ये कब होता है? When Sri Ram, all the Vanar Sena and Sri Ram and Lakshman are wanting to get to Lanka. Now they don't know how to go to Lanka. So they decide that we will seek help from Varun Dev, which is the Samudra. And 3 दिन तक Sri Ram is praying. कि भाई आप मान जाओ, आप आ जाओ and help us. Nothing happening. ठीक है? There is no response from Varun Dev. Then Sri Ram says, so this is the doha, but I'll tell you Valmiki Ramayana mein kya hota hai. It's very similar. He says, Varun Dev is taking us for granted. Just because I'm being polite, he is thinking I'm weak, but I'm not. If he needs to know, then I can actually use my barn and I can sukhao this whole thing. I can dry the ocean and get away. I am not doing that out of my goodness. But my kshama, my forgiveness, he's thinking as my weakness. So now I will show him. Now when he says all that, tab to of course Varun Dev comes and he says, no, all that. So because he's now scared कि बाबा मेरा पानी सब खत्म हो जाएगा and all the living organisms, fish जो भी है वो खत्म हो जाएंगे. Then he realizes कि बाबा, I am at a loss here. Right? People have some common sense.
Strategic thinking, na? Ki main what can I lose? Even though you're from the same side, you don't. Okay, very interesting.
This incident, there's another incident in Ramayana which is so beautiful. तो ये तो वरुण देव को वो बोल रहा है. There is another incident जो मैं आपको सुग्रीव वाला बोल रही थी. Beautiful. I think people don't engage with Ramayana the way they should because there are so many learnings from the Ramayana. ये वाली वध की मैंने आपको बात बताई. फिर क्या होता है? Sugriv gets Ruma back, his wife. Sugriv becomes the Raja. And it's the rainy season, it's the monsoons. So there is a break time. Rainy seasons, no war, nothing happens. No expeditions happen. So Sri Ram says, okay, we'll wait for the rains to end and then we will start the search for Sita ji. Now, Sugriv, because he was running around, hiding from Vali everywhere, he's been away from luxuries. When finally he goes back to the palace and starts enjoying those luxuries, he just loses it in those indulgences. And he forgets that he had promised Sri Ram that he needs to find Sita ji. Barish khatam ho jata hai and this guy is still in his revelry, not knowing what to do and all of that. Then Sri Ram waits for some time. And then he tells Lakshman, this is Sri Ram saying. Sri Ram says, Lakshman, Wali is being kritagna, ungrateful. If he thinks that he got his work done and he doesn't need to help us out, he's completely wrong. We need to show him that he cannot just be ungrateful to us, get his work done and get away with it. That is not going to happen. So you take my message and you go to Sugriv. And the message that Sri Ramji gives, it's, oh my God. He says, Lakshman, tell him, Nacha sankuchita pantha yena vali hatogata. That road, pantha, that road by which Vali has gone,
He
that
can
is
come
not closed yet. Samay tishtha, you have time. Pull up your socks. Ma Vali patham anvaga. Don't try to go on Vali's path. Now, which path did Vali take? Where Sri Ram sent him, no?
Huh.
So Sri Ram is saying, if you become ungrateful and you don't do what you need to do, you will go on the same path.
A message probably that India is giving Turkey, right? We sent you vaccines.
Yes.
We helped. We did all that. Or Azerbaijan, we did all this for you. And you are being kritagna right now.
Absolutely.
So then what step you take? We start taking trade wars.
You will have to face the repercussions. If you work in a way that is not in our interest and you sabotage our interest, in spite of us actually trying to be friendly with you, you face the repercussions. Now, see, the thing is, today we are in that position. So that also matters. Now,
Correct.
what Mahabharat mein, the whole discourse. In fact, Mahabharat has this entire discourse on geopolitics, strategy and war, which is called Shanti Parva. Happens after the Kurukshetra war has ended. And there is this beautiful dialogue between Bhishma Pitama and Yudhishthir. In fact, my second book, Mahabharat Unraveled 2, Part 2, the Dharma Discourses, half of it is on Shanti Parva, where they are discussing all of this. So he says that, yes, you have to... in fact, this is what Vidur says, that if you're very forgiving, forgiveness is good. But what is the downside? That people tend to take you for granted. Hence, to ensure that they don't take you for granted, you need to show your strength as well. Same thing Bhishma is also saying, that yes, you be good. As far as possible, you be good. But then, if they are being ungrateful or not working in your interest, you fight. But also assess where you are. If you don't have the capability, if you don't have the support, you don't have the means, tab kya karo? Wait for the right opportunity. You don't always have to brag. He's like, you shouldn't use your words in a way that harm your interests. Kam bolna acha hai. Today we have the means and the strength, so we are able to show them. If we didn't, haath jod ke baithe raho, wait for the right opportunity.
Wait for the right opportunity. In both the epics, building alliances are important.
Absolutely.
Right? So there are a number of people who turn around and say that why, it could be short term memory, but ये जो global south के लिए हम जो expand कर रहे हैं, look east, prime minister going towards all these countries who, the Congress party turns around and say, oh, okay, now you're remembering these countries. This was part of our non-aligned movement. So you are reworking alliances, building alliances. Now, when you are in a state of conflict, you need to build alliances, rebuild those
Absolutely.
which have fallen by the wayside probably. And you need alliances from everybody. Ram uses even squirrels, right? In Mahabharata also, there are many small alliances that work. So tell me, what are the lessons that one can work with as far as the two epics are concerned about the alliances which the victorious made, which helped them?
So I'll tell you first the theory around it, what they say, right? Bhishma talks about different kinds of friends and enemies. So one is your Sahaj Mitra and one is your Sahaj Shatru. Now, the country which you share your border with, by and large, especially if the ideology is also different, is your Sahaj Shatru, which is Pakistan, right? One of the things which he says you must do is try to penetrate into his friends, those who are trying to support him, so that you start building your alliances. Even with people who are otherwise supporting him. Because a lot of people were like, oh, why are we trying to be close to OIC? Or why are we trying to be so nice to Turkey and all? No, that's a strategy.
And the Raksha Mantri has gone to China
Yes.
Right now, the foreign minister external affairs minister is in China. Chinese technology was used during Operation Sindoor by Pakistan. So why? So it confuses people
Yeah.
कि हम लोग क्यों शत्रु के मित्र के साथ मित्रता करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं.
We always have to keep trying, right? We always have to keep trying. One hand, we
एक
are
तो
going
भेद
to
भी करो
China.
ना.
भेद तो करना ही पड़ेगा ना, और वो कैसे होगा if you don't keep contacts, right? अच्छा, दूसरी ओर China is also our सहज शत्रु, right? We've seen it. We tried to be friends with them and all that. We know they are not trustworthy at all, and they will never be. That doesn't mean you stop engaging with them. You have to always engage. वो जो संधि का प्रयास तो करते रहना चाहिए. Especially when somebody like China is also bigger than you, like stronger than you, at least as we stand right now economically, right?
Is that why Krishna was sent to speak with the Kauravas?
That was so yuddha is the last resort.
Okay.
As far as possible, if you can get your objective, if you can achieve your objective without fight, try that. And they tried. Only after everything fails, go for a yuddha. Because the outcome of the yuddha, Smita ji, is you can really not say, right? Pandavas won, but it was at what cost?
Cost,
Right?
yes.
There will always be damages on your side as well. And you have to accept it when you are in a war. You can't be like, oh, mera kuch loss na ho, par unhi ka loss ho. It is never going to be like that. You will never know the outcome of what the war is. So as far as possible, avoid it. But when it is thopoed on you, you cannot run away. So you still have to do it. But as far as China goes, we are talking to them, we are engaged with them. But sath, we are also building our alliances with Taiwan, with Indonesia, with Vietnam, right? Vietnam was very close to China once upon a time, but we are still doing it. We are doing Sri Lanka, we are talking to them.
And reviving old, ancient ties.
Exactly. So we are, what China did with the string of pearls, we are also doing with that necklace of diamonds or whatever you call it, right? By ensuring we are engaging with who are also friends but also natural shatrus of China, like Taiwan, Indonesia, all of those, right? Mongolia, now that some things this government has really done well. Mongolia is the border country of China, right? We had never engaged with them, which is so strange when it is so resource rich, right? It will also have issues with China all the time. We have to be friendly with them. Finally, we've woken up and we are building those alliances. Central Asia, right? Now all that has started.
Myanmar
Iran ke
also
saath,
for a long
Myanmar,
time,
yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
Brahmadesh as they.
So alliances to have to happen. But also the talking has to happen, but we should never forget who is who and what is what.
शत्रु के मित्र.
Shatru ke mitra also, but also with the Shatru.
अमेरिका क्या है? हमारा मित्र है, शत्रु का मित्र है, किसका मित्र है?
America, we have to use it per our interest. Because America you can't trust. वो कभी इधर भी जाएगा, कभी
तो
उधर भी
हमारे
जाएगा.
एपिक्स में अमेरिका कहाँ? Which character do you think is America?
What would be America? I'm thinking.
शकुनी.
नहीं, Shakuni was to Shatru, no? He was completely on that side. But the others, if you see, like...
But Gandhar was, I mean, to think of it, you know, he was from Gandhar. And to think that we had these connections, people don't understand it, you know. Like, it's only, I think, when the Ramayana came that people figured out that,
Yes.
oh, ye Gandhar wohi hai kya? Like, you know, those who haven't read the
Yeah.
epics, it came as a surprise.
Absolutely.
So anyway, so yeah, tell me, America kaun hoga? I can't even...
See, America, आज की जो स्थिति है ना America की, America is more like that power. I mean, it's very strong. It still is, right? Geopolitically, you cannot sideline America. You can't ignore them. So they are there and they still have power. In that case, I would think of Dwarka or the Yadav clan. Not just Dwarka, but the Yadav clan as playing that role, who was still very powerful, very away, right? They could decide whose side they wanted to be on.
Okay.
The good thing was it was Krishna. So he chose to be on, or rather, Arjun chose Krishna. So Krishna came.
Sarthi.
But you also had some other Yadavs, like Kritvarma, who went on the side of Kauravas, right? So in that sense, they were on both sides.
Okay.
Also,
and
the army of Krishna was on that side because he was the relations were on both sides. But as a guide and mentor, he chose to be on the side of Pandavas because, of course, Pandavas chose
and who?
him.
What is Trump? दोनों का
हे
दोस्त है
भगवान।
मतलब आसिम मुनीर भी मेरा दोस्त है मोदी भी मेरा दोस्त है ही इज लाइक धृतराष्ट्र नो द Kauravas are his sons and the Pandavas are his nephews, how is he supposed to choose?
I think Trump, I don't know, I can put Trump anywhere, but Trump is one of those guys who you feel like he'll be your friend, but you can never trust him.
Huh.
See what he's become, right?
Yeah.
His tone, everything has changed. His views have changed. What he used to talk about, everything has changed. All that he cares about now is money.
हाँ.
जापान को भी नहीं छोड़ा यार, है ना? So I don't even think he's thinking strategically anymore.
The Operation Sindoor. You hail from Gujarat. I'm originally from South India. So I guess you and I both will not be able to feel the sense of angst that some North Indians feel when this whole thing happens and they say कि हमारी genealogy एक ही है, हम एक ही लोग थे, अब लड़ रहे हैं, we should be at peace with Pakistan. Okay, partition happened, they are another country, some of them are wicked, but लोग तो असली हमारे जैसे ही तो हैं, हम वही खाना खाते हैं. So some of us who are not from this belt which saw that, we can't understand this. But what do the epics tell us that wars between cousins, how is it ethically right? What happens? How does it destroy families? And how does it destroy nations?
So while their concern is understandable, the whole Mahabharata is about that only, na? And that is the reason, these ethical concerns, not even ethical, I think it's more emotional concerns, that these are our people. Those are the thoughts which the Pandavas have. See the Arjun Vishad Yog, what is his problem? These are my people. I have to kill my people. How can I do that, right? Acha, Yuddha ke baad, the Shanti Parva which I mentioned, the first part of Shanti Parva is Yudhishthir Vishad Yoga. The war is over. So much destruction has happened. Both sides, right? Everybody's killed. People who they loved and they respected because of Duryodhan, they all have been annihilated, if I may say so. So he's like, I don't want to be a Raja to this kingdom of widows. What's the point? This whole guilt of destroying my entire family is on me. How can I live with that guilt? That is when the whole discussion on Raj Dharma, what is the duty of the Raja, what is the Kartavya of the Raja, what is Raj Dharma, all that happens. And at different points in time, both Vyasji and Bhishma tell him that when it comes to Dharma, doing the right thing, the righteousness, looking after your people, your kingdom, even if your own son, your own father, your own guru work in a way that is detrimental to your country, to your Rajya, to your people, you must kill them. That is the Kartavya of the Raja. Full stop. It doesn't matter हमारे लोग हैं, उनके लोग हैं. अच्छा, हमारे लोग, उनके लोग मतलब क्या? You see the difference in the behavior of the film stars, na? They come here, earn their rosy roti here. Everybody wants to be in Bollywood. But when India-Pakistan conflict happens, how do their film stars behave? How do their cricketers behave? They all want to play here, na? शाहिद अफरीदी, वो सबके सब देखो, नॉर्मल लोग ही थे ना? कैसे बिहेव करते हैं? Do they feel the same way as we feel कि अरे ये तो हमारे लोग हैं, हमें ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए? उनके मन में कभी ये बात आती है? जैसे दुर्योधन के मन में कभी नहीं आई. जो अर्जुन और युधिष्ठिर को लग रहा है कि अरे मेरे लोग हैं, मुझे ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए, क्या उनको ऐसा कभी लगता है? दुर्योधन को लगता है ये मेरे लोग हैं. He's like नहीं, 5 गांव तो क्या? So Pandavas are willing to settle even for 5 villages, so that the war doesn't happen, right? What does Duryodhan say? No, it is not about that. I cannot exist with you guys. It is not about the land at all. I will not even give you a needle's tip worth of a land because it is not about land. It is me not being able to tolerate your existence. Pakistan ka kya hai? If Pakistan wished, it could have lived happily. In fact, few years after independence, because of the support of the foreign powers, Pakistan was doing better than us economically, right? What has led to the ruin of Pakistan? I think for a major part, it is the hatred they have towards India, right? They cannot. Israel ka bahut zyada, if you see the Israel-Palestine conflict, but it's the same thing. Pakistan, at least their leadership, only wants to fight us. They cannot exist with us in peace.
What lesson could they have learnt from the Mahabharata and the Ramayana, which would have resulted in them being somewhat where we are today?
Duryodhan had Hastinapur, right? Hastinapur was well off.
Prospering, yes.
Prosperous, everything. He had good alliances, he had good friends, he had people who would listen to him, he had good mantris. When the Batwara had happened, what did Yudhishthir get? A Banjar land, which they converted to Indraprasth later on, right? They could have lived happily. Duryodhan's entire family, his son would have been the Raja. They would all have lived happily. थोड़ा बहुत skirmish होता जो भी होता वो अलग बात है. But what did Duryodhan do? In his hatred and jealousy of Pandavas, he destroyed his own kingdom. He destroyed his own people, his own family. What is Pakistan doing? Exactly that, no? They were well off. They could have done what we are doing. Thought about growth in industry, thought about financial growth. What did they do? No. They want to go back.
I mean, it's very tragic when these fights happen, right? Family conflicts happen and country conflicts happen which are bordering each other. So you were talking to me about Yudhishthir and that once he wins, he says, what is this that I'm... You advise many business leaders also, you speak to business leaders also. This happens in business families also, right? When brothers split, when sister-brother conflict, these kind of conflicts. So then the person who is left with the larger chunk of the company, the other one goes and gets the smaller chunk of the company or whatever, or equal. They then prosper. Are they happy ultimately, or has the toll been so much that prosperity can come but sukoon nahi hai? Does that happen?
So, what I have seen, it depends, yeah. Sometimes क्या होता है that you have your fight, you feel you're not getting the right inheritance, whatever. Eventually you fight over, you get it. Now, if you are able to accept it and reconcile and help out each other, knowing that Baba at the end of the day bhai hi hai, both will prosper. We've seen that in the Reliance case, right? It was a bad struggle
Correct.
that they went through. But now the brothers, you see, they're all always together. Mukesh Ambani has helped out Anil Ambani as well. We've seen that, right? And both are doing well. And even Anil Ambani's part is now growing and happening together. But then there are others who are like not happy with what they have. If your concern is your growth, more than the destruction of the other, you will survive and you will thrive.
What happened to Lanka after the war? The war happened there. What happened to Lanka and what happened to Ram and Sita? That glorious romance that also went through trouble. What happened to Lanka? Similarly, what happened here after Mahabharata? So what happened with the two wars?
Okay, so the wars were destructive in both the cases. In Mahabharata, to aap dekho, even the Pandavas, whatever happens, Kaurava side, to everybody was dead, right? Only 3 warriors were alive from the Kaurava side. Kripacharya, Ashwathama and Kritvarma. Inke side, pehle there were his sons and everybody was alive, the sons of Draupadi. After Ashwathama's carnage, everybody died. Yahan pe bhi the 5 brothers, Krishna, Satyaki, only they were alive. So the destruction was significant. Not just in the Kaurav Pandav family, but everybody else who had participated also, right? So destruction to tha hi. In fact, that is why when Yudhishthir is like, I don't want to be the Raja and I want to do Prashchit and I'll become a renunciate and all that, Vyasji tells him, he says, no, know what your duty is. If you think your Prashchit is running away, repentance is going away and leaving everything, that is not your Prashchit. Your Prashchit is becoming the Raja and providing succor not just to your people, but also all the other kingdoms which participated into this war. On either side. Sirf ye side, wo side nahi. So he suggests that you should in fact go visit all these kingdoms that have been your allies and the allies of Duryodhan. Wahan pe appoint, because wahan ke bhi Raja sab guzar gaye. So whoever is the next in line, you make them the Raja so that they know that you are not trying to hadpo their zameen. Yeah. Make that friendly gesture. Show them that you don't want to take them away and that you want them to be independent and you are there to help them out. He says, if a male heir doesn't exist, make the woman heir. If there's a daughter, sister, mother, whatever, anoint them the Raja. Show your friendly gesture and then support them. So he says, then you do the yagna, the Ashwamedh yagna, because Ashwamedh yagna mein kya hota hai? You do a lot of dan dharmada and everything, right? Do all of that. Call everybody. That is your dharma. Now, to ensure that whatever damage is done. But how do you rebuild the economy, the society? And that is what he does for the next 36 years.
Okay.
This is what Yudhishthir does. In Lanka, so Lanka is, Lanka mein kya hota hai? There is a lot of destruction.
Vibhishan is left over.
Obviously. But Vibhishan has come this side. By the way, can I add this one bit on Vibhishan?
Sure.
So typically, again, because मुझे लगता है Shri Ram को we just don't study him well enough. So the idea is always that why did Shri Ram take Vibhishan on his side? Sharanagat Vatsal. Yeah, out of love that he's come to me, I cannot let him go. So he accepts Vibhishan. Yes, that is one part. But the thought process that Shri Ram has while making that decision is fantastic. Shri Ram is a Raja and a very strategic Raja, very strategic thinker. So when Vibhishan comes and the Vanars, he tells the Vanars that I've come to seek refuge with Shri Ram. The Vanars are very scared. They run to Shri Ram and Sugriva and everybody and they say, this guy who's come, he says he's the brother of Ravan and he's come. So first, Shri Ram consults everybody. Because at the end of the day, kiska army ladne wala hai? Vanaro ka, right? So he has to ensure that they are aligned with his decisions. So he talks to all of them and says, he's here, what do you think we should do? So Angad has a view, Hanumanji has a view, Sugriv has a view, they all have different views. Sugriv actually says that I don't think we should take him because a guy who has left his brother in need, how can we trust him at all? We should not take him. So he has this view. Hanumanji is in the view of we should take him. Some others are saying we should not take him or we should test him. So ye pura discussion chalta hai. Then Shri Ram says, oh, I think we should take him. And Sugriv is like, no, I still don't think so. Then Shri Ram says, why? He says, one, his coming here tells me that definitely there is some difference of opinion happening in Lanka, right? Which can be of benefit to us. Also, Shri Ram says, sometimes what happens between brothers is that one of them might think of the other as the enemy. Ravan might be thinking Vibhishan is the enemy because he has also heard from Hanumanji, Vibhishan's role in that whole discussion that happens when Hanumanji is in Lanka. So, so he says कि एक तो this is clear to it seems to me that उनमें difference of opinion है, which can be of advantages to us. Second, he says sometimes the biggest fear which leaders have is from their own people. So it is likely that Ravan must be thinking that Vibhishan is always opposing him, no? Or giving him different advice on what Ravan wants to do. So he must be scared of Vibhishan, and that might make Vibhishan also scared of Ravan. That Vibhishan might think that agar yuddha hota hai, Ravan will kill him, thinking of him as a mole. Hence he has come to us. There is also a chance that Vibhishan knows कि जब सुग्रीव वाली का युद्ध होता है, I killed Wali, but I did not take over Kishkindha. Who did I give it to? Sugriv. So it is very likely that he also believes that
long-term goal.
Lanka to tabah hone wala hai because they all have heard about how single-handedly Shri Ram has killed 14,000 Rakshasas in Janasthan, right? So maybe that is also in his mind. Hence, I believe we should take him. Okay, so then still Sugriv is not fully aligned with that. And then Shri Ram says, no, but I think he's come to me, so I cannot let him go. I have to accept. So that's his final word. But when Vibhishan comes and Vibhishan tells him, Shri Ram, I've left my wives and children and all that, and I've come to seek your refuge. You know what Shri Ram says? Immediately, doesn't even wait for anything. Shri Ram says, okay, akhya hi asheshena ravanasya balabalam. You tell me, without leaving out anything, tell me, balabalam, what are the strengths and weaknesses of Ravan? Why is he, if it was only Sharanagat Vatsal, only playing clean, would he ask this? But he is seeking intelligence. And for any kind of bhed or any kind of victory in war, you need intelligence. So, and he's also seeing what is going to be Vibhishan's body language. Is he comfortable sharing it? Because if he wouldn't be, then they would know, maybe he's actually a mole who's come on our side to gather our information. But Vibhishan actually shares in detail that this big is the army, यहाँ पे fortification है, यहाँ पे ये protection है, वगैरह वगैरह, Ravan ऐसा है वगैरह. And he goes on to say Ravan is also so strong. Again, Shri Ram looks at him and says, let me assure you, Vibhishan, I will kill Ravan Sabandhava with all these people who are supporting him. I will kill all of them and make you the Raja of Lanka immediately. How smart is this? You've already given him the carrot to ensure that he stays on your side. Because possibly once he goes there, he sees his people, he might become weak. But here he's like, if we win this war, you are going to be the Raja. Of course, then Vibhishan was very loyal to him. That's a different matter altogether. And having Vibhishan on their side was so helpful. Especially when Indrajit creates this whole illusion of killing Sita ji. Now, when that happens and the Vanars see Sita ji getting killed, so they come rushing to Sri Ram and they tell him कि ये हुआ है. Sri Ram collapses. He becomes unconscious. He wakes up and he's like, I don't care. I don't want to fight. What's the point of fighting this war anymore? I don't want to do anything. So he just loses it at that point. And that is when Vibhishan says, Baba, it's not possible. First, Indrajit will not kill Sita, and it is impossible that Ravan will allow this to happen. The way I see it is that Indrajit was trying to buy time.
Okay.
Because he wants to go that जो देवी है उसका उसे यज्ञ करना है. So that he gains the strength to become invincible. So he wants to delude you guys, lead you astray, thinking that Sita ji is dead so that you guys give up fighting and give him time to gain that strength back, get the Vardhan of the Devi and come back and finish all of you. So don't give up. And we should not even allow Indrajit to finish his yagna. Tell Lakshman to come with me and we will go and we will disrupt his yagna right way and fight with him. That's the only way of killing him, and that is how Indrajit is killed. So again, having Vibhishan, the way it worked.
Tell me, if it was a dharma yudh and Rama was on the side of dharma, the war was a dharmic yudh.
Yeah.
Vibhishan never gets respectability, no? He's on the side of dharma. Everybody says, ye Vibhishan hai. Always seen as like, Troy.
So see, I think that is the issue with us, where our understanding of what is right and wrong has become so bungled up. Because you know what Valmiki ji tells us? Valmiki ji doesn't talk of Vibhishan as Ghar ka bhedi Lanka dhai. He doesn't say that. In fact, he says, what is Vibhishan? When the three brothers are doing the tapasya and getting Vardhan and all of that, Ravan wants Amaratva. Kumbhakaran ko to kuch nahi bichare ko hota hai. He gets that 6 mahina sleeping on all of that. What Vibhishan asks is, Param apad gatasya api dharme me matir bhava. Whatever be the situation, however bad be the situation,
may I be on the side of dharma?
May I always be on the side of dharma? May my buddhi always be in dharma? This is what the man asks. So in Valmiki Ramayana, Vibhishan gets a lot of respect. Even the people of Lanka, because after that he becomes a Raja, they don't curse him. In fact, when all these Sainiks of Ravan are dying towards the end, their widows are crying. Ki, Arey, what has Ravan done? He should have listened to Vibhishan. Vibhishan was giving him good advice. He didn't listen to Vibhishan. He didn't listen to anybody. And today, we are having to face all these losses because of the pride and ahankar of Ravan. So they are also saying that. So in Valmiki Ramayana, Vibhishan is not considered a bad person. As then the Lokoktis have done.
What kind of a kingdom was left over in after the war for Vibhishan to govern? If everything was finished, like here in this war, Yudhishthir literally had a kingdom of widows left. What happened in that war?
I think वो तो वहाँ पर भी ऐसा ही होगा ना.
ऐसा ही हुआ होगा. But does the...
but it was a very prosperous kingdom.
He never wanted to come back to Ayodhya with Ram.
No, he had his thing and he...
And what happened with Ayodhya? Ram comes back. He brings Sita with him. What happened then? Why was that? Explain that to me, that why did that go wrong then?
So there are two parts. Na? One is the Agni Pariksha.
Yeah.
We already have, a lot of people already have an issue with the Agni Pariksha, that he loved her so much,
then
as we know. Then why did he not trust her? Again, for all these answers, we have to refer back to Valmiki Ramayana. Because I have said it in a lot of places, but I'll say it again. There are only two books which we consider Itihas. Valmiki Ramayana and Ved Vyasji's Mahabharata. Why? Because these two people were present when those events were happening. They were contemporary. Ved Vyasji ka to, it is a story of his own children, right? He was the father of Dhritarashtra and Pandu, so to say. So he's talking about his own family. And यहाँ पे भी Valmiki ji was there, present when Sri Ram was ruling. So what they tell us is what is itihas. So if we want to know the whys and hows, we have to go back to Valmiki Ramayana. Everything else is good from your bhakti, shraddha, all of that. No issues with that. But historically, we have to refer to this for the whys. So what happens is, after the Yuddha is over and Sita ji now has to come back. So first of all, he sends Hanumanji and he says, you go and ask Sita what she wants to do. First tell her that now she's free and Ravan has been killed. So ask her what she wants now. So she's very happy and she's like, oh, I want to see Ram. So Hanumanji comes back and tells him that. And suddenly, there is a change in Sri Ram's behavior and his expressions and everything. And his eyes are filled with tears. Now, why is he doing... Abhi, kuch din pehle hi, when he gets to know that Sita is dead, he's collapsed on the floor, right? And he's not able to get up and nothing. And Lakshman really had to like shake him and pull him out of it. And then Vibhishan said, so wo abhi hua tha, not long back. But when this happens, so he becomes teary-eyed and stuff and suddenly goes cold and says, okay, get her. So tell her to take bath and all that and come. And how very well dressed in a reshmi sari and all of that. So get her. Now when she comes, to everybody's shock, Sri Ram tells her, don't think I came to rescue you. Whereas that was the only reason he came, right? But don't think I came to rescue you. I came because Ravan had challenged my Purushartha and I couldn't have lived with that kalank on my family. Hence I came. So now you're free to go wherever you go. Now when Sri Ram is saying this, everybody is dumbstruck, including Lakshman, including Hanumanji, everybody. And Lakshman is angry. He's like, why is he saying like this? Sita ji is angry. She's in tears and she's like, how dare you speak to me like I'm some uncultured woman and you are some uncultured man. Don't you know me? We've grown up together. Don't you know what my character is that you are questioning my character? If that was the reason, I mean, if you didn't care for me and if you didn't trust me, why did you come all the way? I could have just given up my life here. I would have died. There was no need for you to come. And she is the one who says, if you don't trust me, I will do the Agni Sakshi, the Agni Pariksha, whatever. And she goes around saying that, okay, Agni, if you are the witness, if I have done anything wrong, please, if I've never done anything wrong, please protect me. That's what she says. Then we know that Agnidev comes. That's what the story says, that Agnidev comes and says that Ram, asyam papam na vidyate. There is no pap in her. That's what Agnidev says. You know what Sri Ram says immediately? Immediately. He says, aham abhi gachami. I know there is no pap in her. I never doubted her. He says, Ravan ka औकात नहीं था to do anything to Sita. She's protected by her own tej. She's protected by her own tejas. I never doubted that she has done any pap. But pratyartham tu lokanam, for the sake of the people, because people will question when we go back. See, she was staying in Ravan's Kidaghar. Nobody knew how she went, how she struggled. Tabhi wo drone or reporting to ye sab tha nahi, right? People might say, oh, she went away because Ravan was so powerful. People can say anything, right? So he says, but people would question. And now when they go back, Sita ji is not only Sri Ram's wife, she's going to be the queen of Lanka, right? And you don't want people questioning the person in power. So he says, for the sake of the people, I did not stop her from doing Agni Pariksha. Not because I didn't trust her. I trusted her 100%. Sita and I, he says, are like the sun and the sun rays, the Prabha. Like you cannot separate the Prabha from the sun, you cannot separate Sita from me. So this is the explanation he gives. And when people want to talk about Agni Pariksha and call Sri Ram misogynist, they only quote the first part. They will never tell us about all this.
If I might just draw parallel, I don't know whether it's right or wrong, but some of the things is like, you know, when the Indian Army, Navy or Air Force carries out an operation and people say, video ka hai? Proof ka hai? You understand?
Yeah. And our own people asking.
Our own people, of course. Dusron ka to chodo. Our own people ask proof. Now there's one section which will say that why should the armed forces go through this Agni Pariksha of giving you proof?
Yes.
You know you have won the war or the conflict or the operation. You have won it. Your military objectives have been
Met.
fulfilled. Why do you need to have proof of what has been done? Right? In many cases, there was no proof. In Operation Sindoor, there was proof, but even that is being rejected.
Absolutely.
So I would draw
This is like Raman playing out in front of us.
in front of us, right? I mean, like while you talk, these things are coming to me as to how am I seeing this?
Yes.
Learning from these lessons that आज का ज़माना है कि अग्नि परीक्षा भी is not enough.
Absolutely.
Right?
तभी भी तो नहीं था.
तभी भी नहीं था.
तभी भी तो नहीं था. Abhi, we've shown everything, right? We've shown the videos, we've shown everything. Still, what does the foreign media talk about? No, Pakistan did well. India begged to stop the war. Pakistan had the edge. We don't trust this. We don't know where are the proof. इतना दिखा के भी आपको proof नहीं मिल रहा है, right? This is always going to be. And
That
the same
also
thing
happened because एक फिर one person says one
so धोबी
commoner
वाला जो
says,
बात आता है. Now, so this whole episode is in Uttarakhand. Okay, so there is one school of thought which says that Uttarakhand is not a part of Valmiki Ramayana. So whatever you see in Uttarakhand, just discard it. It is not a part of Valmiki Ramayana at all, including Sitaji's Parityag and all that. That is one view. And a lot of people believe that, and that's okay. It is for people to decide. It's Shraddha ki baat hai. But there's another school and the traditional schools which have actually written commentaries on the Uttarakhand as well. So it is not so easy to just say hua hi nahi and give it up. However, my approach to this, because even in my book, Ramayana Unraveled, I actually talk of this episode in epilogue. So आपको मानना है, आपको बिलीव करना है, करिए, नहीं करना है, नहीं करिए. But there is a way to understand this episode. It is not as if a commoner has said. ऐसा नहीं हुआ है वो. उसमें क्या हुआ है कि Sri Ram is sitting in his sabha and like spies होते हैं ना, you get the spies, you get information from them about what's going on in your country and all that. Anyway, so spy, by the way, the entire the war strategy and everything, your spy network is one of the most important, and this comes again and again and again in both Mahabharata and Ramayana. But anyway, so यहाँ पे, so he's asking them that
in fact, the intel agencies talk a lot about espionage and counter-espionage as per the, I won't say to mythologies, to epics, to itihas, whatever you want to call it. They refer to it quite a lot.
This is the Indic Niti Shastra. You see that also in Artha Shastra. The same theme comes again and again, that how important it is for a Raja to have a very, very strong spy network. In fact, Artha Shastra mein Kautilya, he says, we call Indra Sahasraksha. Indra is called the one with 1,000 eyes. He's like, what do these 1,000 eyes mean? Is it that Indra has 1,000 eyes? No. The 1,000 eyes is basically saying that was his spy network. And that is how a Raja should be if he wants to become Indra. So
and
that is the pattern given.
The superpowers talk about 5 eyes, the 5 countries.
Yes.
We went long back and we talked about 1,000
Absolutely.
eyes. Okay.
So anyways, coming back to this, so he has these people who are telling him कि क्या चल रहा है अयोध्या में. And he wants to know what do people think of him, Sita ji, reputation क्या है वगैरह वगैरह. So feedback. Basically समाज में reputation क्या है, क्या feedback है लोगों का.
Social media नहीं होता था ना.
यही उनका option होता था. जो पहले आप लोग सब तो वही करते थे ना. मीडिया का काम ही ये होता था. So one guy says, oh, people are happy. Abhi bhi they keep talking about your victory against Ravan and all that they have heard. They keep talking about it. और बोलते बोलते ना he एकदम becomes चुप. So Sri Ram is like, what happened? You tell me. And he's like, Maharaj, there is just one thing. People keep questioning Sita ji's character. What they say is that, how can Sri Ram even touch her? She lived in Ravan's Krida Graha for such a long time. How has he even accepted her? Now, because the Raja has accepted her, people violate rules in our homes. How will we uphold standards of morality and all that? So that is the kind of apavad going on. It's not one commoner who has said. This is like the wildfire gossip going around in Ayodhya. Okay, everybody's asking. Abhi jaise na, you have shown everything and still yahi ho raha hai. So when Sri Ram hears this, he's shocked. But he doesn't just trust this one. He tries to ask the other spies as well. And they all confirm the same. Ki Ayodhya bhar mein, this is what people are talking, that Sri Ram's action is actually impacting the social morality. Now what should he do? So he sends them back and he's in tears. He's red-eyed, he's in tears. And he calls Lakshman. And he says, Lakshman, you're seeing this? I knew this would happen. I had already foreseen this would happen. That is why that whole Agni Pariksha, I did not stop Sita because I knew people will question. But now I'm here. People are questioning. Now what do? Now I have decided to
Send her away.
send her away. Now, of course, people say, ki, how is it justice? She was not at fault, right? She was not at fault. How is it justice? The problem there is that Sita ji is not an ordinary citizen. Sita ji is a part of the administration. Ram, Raja or Rani, दोनों होते हैं, right? She is the part of the judiciary, if I may, talking of it in today's terms. Government है वो. Now, आज, if say, we don't trust the Prime Minister's family or somebody that he has with him, what do we expect them to do? Do we wait कि अरे judiciary clear करता है कि नहीं ये वो? What do we say कि नहीं, you step down. Even if you want a fair review, you have to step down, right? This is what we expect. They are not common citizens. They are the Raja. And at that time, the Raja's word was final. Nyay was Raja. So if you want that your Janta, your people should trust you
Above
wholeheartedly,
retribution, huh.
you have to be
Above, sorry.
You have to keep this clean
Spotless.
reputation.
वो कहते हैं ना, Caesar's wife should be above
About
suspicion.
it's exactly that, right? So he sends her away. Now what has he shown to the Praja? That yeah, you don't like your Rani? Fine, I will give it up because you don't like her. But why does he not marry again?
He
He
sends
could
the
have-
children also, you know. No,
But
she's pregnant.
She's pregnant.
She's
at
pregnant,
that time.
yeah.
Now the other thing is, do you want your children to be born in a place where everybody is questioning their parentage? Would she rather live in Lanka, in Ayodhya, where everybody is talking about it? And if she gets to know about it, what will be the asar on her? She gets to know anyways. But being surrounded by people who you know are questioning you all the time, right? So she would rather go away. Now the thing is, why did Sri Ram not give up and go? He could have done that, right? People
She
say
went
that.
with him when it was needed
Correct.
to Vanvas.
So he could have left and gone.
Ah.
But then what would that mean? What is he? Would that have shown that Sita ji is not wrong? What would have people said? His father also chose his wife over us. We all wanted Sri Ram to be the Raja. We had told we want Sri Ram to be the Raja. He had promised that Sri Ram will be the Raja. But when wife said nothing doing, he chose the wife and gave up on us. The son is doing the same thing. We waited for him for 14 years so that he comes back and we love him and we trust him. But see, when it came to choosing us over anybody else, he's choosing his family, he's choosing his wife, doesn't care for us because Sita ji is not an ordinary citizen, which we keep forgetting. Acha, so he
But
decides.
in all this, Sita has no agency of her own.
So what happens is, of course, she doesn't see that. That's what comes with that status and position and everything, right? So when Lakshman ji goes to drop her and tells her that this is what Sri Ram has done, she doesn't curse Sri Ram. She doesn't complain. She said, if this is what people are thinking, then it is my responsibility to ensure that they don't talk about it like that. So I am not worried. I am not unhappy that he's asked me to go. This is what she actually says. She understands what her Raj Dharma is. She also has a Raj Dharma, right? She also has a responsibility and accountability to the Praja. She is the Rani, not any other person. However, what I was coming to is that Sri Ram sent her away. Sri Ram chose his Janta, his Raj Dharma, over his Patni. But why did he not marry again? We take this very lightly. We think कि उन्होंने तो एक पत्नी का व्रत लिया था. नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है वाल्मीकि रामायण में. There is no one patni व्रत. His father had multiple wives. The generations after that had multiple wives. Polygamy was a norm. Everybody did polygamy, especially Rajas, because it made strategic sense also. Why did he not marry? Whenever he did the yagnas also, he kept Sita ji's putla there. So what did he say? What message is he sending? He's saying, you don't trust the queen, I let her go. But there is nobody else who can take my wife's position because I trust my wife. So if there is anybody who can take my wife's position, it will only be Sita. I am not giving up on my wife. I am giving up on the Rani who you don't trust.
But even then, she never becomes Rani. Even when it is finally
Because
there,
that is
the
her
earth splits
call.
open and she goes down.
That is her call. And
What
that
her
shows
call?
that is her call. She could have come back, right? She could have said, I'm taking Pratigya again. It's all good. I never thought about anybody else and I'm coming back. But would you want to come back to that place where people have questioned you? And yes, Sri Ram did what he did for the praja. What about Sita ji's self-respect? Why should she come back? She played her role fully, like a wife, like a queen, and a mother.
Then she wants to go back to becoming her daughter in the end. Why does she go back?
Why would she come? Why would she come back to a place where her character is questioned again and again? She chose her self-respect. She had lived through every responsibility of hers, right? The children were also old enough. Now is the question of your self-respect. When it happened again,
So
she
a
chose her
Raja
self-respect.
can never really have a happy life at this stage. I mean, if you actually see, he has to sacrifice his family for the sake of the Praja and what the Praja thinks. Whether it is Yudhishthir,
Yeah.
right? Or whether it is, if you see both the itihas, if you see Yudhishthir or you see Ram, those love stories never culminate in happily ever after.
See, but that's the thing now. What happens when the leaders choose family? We have examples in front of us. In India, there is a family which has always chosen family over everybody else. What happens to the country? And why is it that Narendra Modi stands apart in all that? Because he doesn't have a family. Right? So that biases go away. See, that is the thing about being a leader. You will always be faced with ethical dilemmas. And that is why we started with it. But these things are so relevant even today.
Yeah.
Right?
So,
Even today.
when we were talking, I'll move a little away from Operation Sindoor. When we are talking about women's rights and issues, of course, this was Treta Yuga and things like that we're talking about. With every yuga, the social mores are different. The way we think is different. But, just lately, there was this incident just last week of this Radhika Yadav, right? Of Radhika Yadav, who was shot by her father. And so many things about it is very difficult to accept. As per what the father has said in his statement is that, yes, I killed her because I could not tolerate the barbs which the people around me were saying कि तुम बेटी के income पे जी रहे हो. Whereas it's a Samridh Parivar also. The younger brother who lives in the ground floor said कि पीछे से मारा, supposed to have told the police कि पीछे से मारा क्योंकि अगर सामने से मारते, he could not have faced his daughter, a daughter for whom he did so much in life. Set her up, travelled with her when she was a player, her academy. But the same academy for which he worked so hard, her profession, that became, वो खटक रहा था उसको. So you explained to me that, how does our society do this? That on the one hand, you want your daughter to succeed. You want her to beat all records and become something. And then when she's giving back to the profession, that is not acceptable. And, you're seeing in social media all this angst which is happening. And of course, some people will bring out this thing कि वो reel बना रही थी. तो she was, getting into wrong things. And reel बनाते वक्त people of other faiths and castes and all were involved. वो गलत था. So there is so much of, conflict among Sanatanis also कि क्या था, सही था, क्या उसने बाप का धर्म सही निभाया, क्या उसने बेटी का धर्म सही निभाया, उन दोनों की रिश्तेदारी, what was wrong in that? How do you see this?
So when you are when you just mentioned about Radhika Yadav, who's from Haryana, a sports woman, right? For whom the father did so much, I'm also reminded about other sports women from Haryana, for whom also their fathers have done so much.
Yeah.
These all the boxing ladies,
So
right?
much,
All of
yeah.
them.
Legendary, yes.
Saina Nehwal, the way she talks about her father,
Yeah.
it's amazing. And I'm sure at some point, all those fathers would have heard those babs, right? Now, as a person, why are you taking it to heart at all? Saina Nehwal's father would probably say, "Arey Baba, I'm proud of my daughter. इसमें क्या है? बेटी के नाम से मुझे जाना जाता है." Right? He'd probably say that. The same thing the others would say. What was so wrong about being known by your daughter? Absolutely nothing wrong, right? And we have parallels in Itihas. जो Savitri Satyavan वाला story है, we still do the Vatar Savitri and all that. Savitri's father is known by Savitri just because of what she was, right? So ये तो हमेशा से रहा है that if your child is doing well, you would be proud of her. That's how it should be. But वही है ना, I think we are in that flux right now, where Some people have moved on the other side where it doesn't matter beta hai, beti hai, whatever hai. You want to ensure they succeed and you do whatever is required as a parent to get there. And there are some who are trying that but still stuck in that mentality कि भाई क्या कर रहे हैं. Now this father, I mean I don't know who he is, but probably if he had just taken a step back when he was doing that or when he was getting super agitated by the barbs, he could have just taken a step back to see भाई क्या है. It's a change in perspective only ना कि भाई मेरी बेटी तो है. I should be proud of her. Why are these barbs hurting me?
But if I was a
लोग तो
contrarian,
बोलेंगे,
I'll say that if you justify Ram sending his wife away or subjecting her to an Agni Pariksha, then this man was probably doing the same thing.
we ask this question because we see Sitaji only as a woman and nothing beyond that. We think of Sitaji as some bichari lady who has no agency of her own, nothing, which is absolutely not true. Because if Sri Ram has taken an Agni Pariksha of Sita Ma has also taken an Agni Pariksha of Sri Ram, just the parameters are different. Should I talk about it?
Yeah, sure.
So when पहले तो Sita ji is no abala nari. Okay, we have to fully understand that. To come to Vanvas was her decision. ठीक है. Now मुझे एक बात बताइए, श्री राम कोई पिकनिक पे तो नहीं जा रहे थे कि क्या ही मजे करके घूम के आने वाले हैं. नहीं, it was going to be a tough life. Had Sita ji not gone with him, wouldn't his life be easier? ये तो he has to ensure she's taken
Protection,
care of
food,
and all that,
everything,
right?
yeah.
So yes, she निभावed her patni dharma in the sense that if my husband is going through trouble, I will support him. Yes, but objectively देखा जाए तो it didn't make Sri Ram's life any easier. They had a nice time and romance and all that. That's one thing, right? But whose decision was it? Did Sri Ram thopo it on Sita ji? Not at all. Sita ji says nothing doing, I will come, right? So it is her call. Then when that episode happens of that हिरण वाला जो एपिसोड होता है, लक्ष्मण जी एक्चुअली सेज कि बाबा ऐसा हिरण हो नहीं सकता है. देयर कैन नॉट बी अ हिरण लाइक दिस. Clearly there is something wrong here and we shouldn't trust because anyways all the Rakshasas are become our enemies, so we shouldn't trust. She says no, I want the deer. I want to either take it with me back to Lanka or if you back to Ayodhya, or if you can't catch it live, I want to use its skin as a mattress for you and I to sit on. And she's very happy. So then Sri Ram says, Arey Lakshman, look at her face, she's so happy. If she wants it, I should get it. Also, if you're saying it's a Rakshas, then also it is my responsibility to go and get it. So again, it is Sita ji's hut, which is making Sri Ram go. Okay. अच्छा वो भी हो गया. फिर जब वो मरीच हे राम हे लक्ष्मण हे सीता करते हैं, लक्ष्मण जी still sitting there because Sri Ram has told him to take care of Sita ji. And इसके पहले ही Sri Ram had killed 14,000 Rakshasas. So they know that the Rakshasas would seek revenge at some point, right? So Lakshman doesn't go. Sita ji is like, oh, you must go, your brother is in trouble. And very natural, right? As if you love that person and you've heard that person scream out for help, you don't want to take any chances. So it's very understandable. She's saying that you go. Lakshman ji says, it's not possible that Sri Ram can fall into such a trouble. ऐसा कभी नहीं होगा. He will never scream for help. He has asked me to take care of you. I think this is somebody playing a game on us. She says, no, nothing doing. You should go. He doesn't listen. You know what she says? She says, because she wants him to go and she's so worried, so impulsively she says, now I understand why you've come with us. You didn't come because you care for Ram or anything like that. I think either Bharat must have sent you or you came to ensure that you could eliminate Ram. Why? Because your drishti was on me, she's saying. तुम्हारी दृष्टि मुझ पर थी, इसलिए तुम आयो. So now when Ram is out of the way, you think you can get me. But let me tell you something. If something happens to Ram, I will kill myself. I won't come in your hands. This is what Sita ji's Shabda in Valmiki Ramayana. Okay. So to think of her as some abala nari who's only being mistreated, ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं है. She's a woman with a lot of courage, with a lot of assertion, who has always known how to have her way. As a woman should. I don't see anything wrong in that, right? And she's madly in love with this guy. So whatever it takes to get Lakshman to go, she's saying.
वही सामदाम वाला.
So she is so angry that he's not listening that all that has come out हो जाता है ना कभी-कभी. But is this an image of an abala nari or a nari who's always been oppressed? Absolutely not. The way that she can say like this to her Devar, who has left everything, and only thing he's doing is seva of those two people. So he's left everything just to do seva of these two people, and this is what she's saying. So शुरुआत में तो Lakshman doesn't react, but then when she goes on and on that तुम्हारी नजर मुझ पे वगैरह, then he is like अरे बाप रे, he's like I think तुम्हारा बुद्धि भ्रष्ट हो गया, you're not able to see how things are. So be it, because I can't take this anymore. Your words are hurting me like पिघला हुआ molten लोहा, molten iron. It's hurting me. It's like you pouring molten iron into my ears. I can't take this anymore. May the Vana Devtas protect you. I'm going, and he goes away. So there is no Lakshman Rekha and all. ठीक है? So the Lakshman Rekha, there is no literal Lakshman Rekha in Valmiki Ramayana. What is actually broken is the Sahanshilta of Lakshman. It is that Rekha which has actually been broken, and he goes away. ठीक है, एंड देन दिस होल रावण एपिसोड हैपेंस. बात यहाँ पे भी नहीं खत्म होती है. ठीक है, सो अगर she would have understood and not behaved so impulsively, if I have to play the devil's advocate here, right, all this wouldn't have happened. अगर वो पहले ही मान जाते कि भाई हिरण नहीं चाहिए तो भी ये नहीं होता. अगर वो लक्ष्मण की बात बाद में भी मानती तो भी ये सब नहीं होता. बट खैर, whatever, she was being just a normal wife. That is all she was, right? Because she cared for her husband. Acha. Now when she's kidnapped, and she's a lady of conviction and strength, because the way she deals with Ravan is also fantabulous, right? He tries to woo her in every possible way, but she is very strong, doesn't relent at all, also because she loves Sri Ram so much. Acha. Then when Hanumanji goes to Lanka, and Hanumanji finds her and tells her that you come back with me.
She says no.
She says no. You know why she says no? She says that if I come with you, what will happen? People will put kalank. It's the same kalank thing which Sri Ram thinks will come on her character. She's thinking people will talk about my husband not being able to take care of me. They will question his parakram. I cannot tolerate that. And there are other reasons, but this is the main one. I cannot tolerate that. Hence, he has to come here, kill Ravan and take me. Now this lady was actually becoming so worried कि वो एक मारीच से वो युद्ध करने गए थे, and she was like, oh नहीं कुछ हो गया होगा. Now she's saying no, he has to come here. Now Ravan का लंका, she doesn't know how they are going to come, right? पुल वुल तो था नहीं, कैसे आएंगे? रावण की इतनी बड़ी आर्मी, she has no clue कि वहाँ पे सारा इतना बड़ा सेना बन गया, nothing, right? How will he come? He has no conventional army or nothing. Is she bothered about that? No. What is she bothered about? Ki I cannot tolerate anybody questioning my husband. What did Sri Ram do? I cannot tolerate anybody questioning my wife when we go back.
Okay, kalank agar hai, the kalank is worse than going to a yudh. Sometimes yudh is necessary because of the kalank.
Correct.
Okay, 2611 happens, but we don't go to yudh. Pahalgam massacre happens, but we go to yudh. The terrorist who came said ki jaake Modi ko batao.
Correct.
Right? But the Raja at this time, if we extrapolate, decides that yudh is necessary. Even if it was a 108-hour yudh is necessary. 2611 happens, but the Raja of that time says that yudh is not necessary. Both are a kind of a kalank that happened.
Absolutely.
Right? Now tell me,
2611, if at that time we had shown some spine, maybe Pahalgam wouldn't have happened. Right? But we showed no spine. How did we behave? We behaved like some apahic yaar. We were like, yeah, you guys can come. You can do whatever you want in our city, and we will sit there and plead you. What are we showing? We don't have a spine. If you don't show your spine, people will not respect you. It says, Bhai bin hoye na preet. Now, what image of ours did we reinforce in the minds of Pakistanis? They anyways call us banyas. है ना? ये बनिया लोग तो क्या युद्ध करेंगे? They can't fight. That is the image they have of us. So they're like, if they are being doormats, we will trample them and go. That is the message we sent after 2611.
So the yudh is necessary to prevent further yudh.
It is a deterrent, right? And it can't just be once. You have to keep showing that you hit us you do damage to us, we will 10x and give it back to you, right? That is how deterrent is created with a bad faith actor.
I mean,
That is the issue.
Ramayana mein there is a war, Mahabharat mein there is a war. Those two countries never went to war against each other. A similar war did not happen between Ayodhya and Lanka.
Yeah.
It wasn't really Ayodhya going to war, but between that kingdom and Lanka.
Because it was completely decimated, no?
Decimated, but they never recovered enough to go to war against each other for whatever reason, revenge or whatever. They never went to war. The same you can say about after the Mahabharata also. Do recurring wars happen after those two monumental wars?
After those two, as in not amongst them.
Amongst them.
Because एक तो वो कैसे था हस्तिनापुर और इंद्रप्रस्थ के बीच. But वो तो that was not left anymore ना. It was all Hastinapur only. It was all leveled because सामने की साइड पे कोई बचा ही नहीं है तो कौन आपसे युद्ध करेगा? The entire generation is over. However, हस्तिनापुर और ये जाने दो. There were other kingdoms which had played a part, right? So then when Yudhishthir finally agrees to become the Raja and he agrees to do the Ashwamedha. So when the Ashwamedha happens, so Ashwamedha में भी कैसे होता है ना? Like Rajasuya, you leave a horse and allow the horse to go wherever it goes to different kingdoms. You go to those kingdoms and you tell them to either accept your prabhutva, to accept your sovereignty, whatever, or fight with you. ठीक है? So then war में आप उसको हराओगे. This is what Ashwamedha is. So Yudhishthir tells Arjun कि भाई तुम जाओ but try not to fight. As far as possible you convince. Also because everybody had become so weak, right? He was under the impression कि सारे तो वैसे ही मान जाएंगे. किसी के पास कुछ है नहीं. And then when everybody comes together, it's like one nice big आपका kingdom जैसा हो गया. But not a kingdom. Everybody is still independent, but they are all come together. So when Arjun goes, some of them I agree. But some other kingdoms which were on the side of Duryodhan, they don't. So when he goes to Pragjyotish, which is Pragjyotish had fought on the side of Duryodhan.
Where is Pragjyotish today?
Today, Pragjyotish, they say Assam side.
Okay.
But at that time, it was more Uttarakhand, I think.
Okay.
That's how I see the direction जो वो दिखाते हैं. वैसे ही when he goes to Gandhar, there also people are don't just accept him कि आ जाओ, we'll be friends. No. Even though they are not capable, that anger is still there that you killed our people. Same thing in Sindhu. So Jayadratha is from Sindhu Desh, right? So these three kingdoms, they actually fight him again. But they are so weak and Arjun is so strong that anyways he starts then, because now he is provoked, so he starts giving it back. Then the women interfere. In the case of Jayadratha, like Sindhu Desh, Dushala, who's the wife of Jayadratha and the cousin of Pandavas, she comes with the grandchild of Jayadratha and she stops the war. कि भाई please don't fight anymore, जो हुआ वो हुआ, जाने दो. And in Gandhar, it is Shakuni's wife who interferes and stops the people from fighting. So यहाँ तो कोई बचा ही नहीं था enmity के लिए. Same thing in Lanka. Vibhishan was his man, right?
Okay.
But in other places, wars do happen. Now, what is the strategy to say avoid it? Let me give you another example of Magad. Okay, Magad was Jarasangh. Now, Jarasangh के साथ जब युद्ध होता है, it is not a full-fledged war.
The Thai wala guy.
हाँ, जो जिसको फाड़ा है.
Torn open.
Now, this happens before the Rajasuya Yagna of the Pandavas. So, before Yudhishthir becomes a Chakravartin and all that. The question is that if they want to become Chakravartin, can they? That is the discussion going on. Everybody says, you're very powerful, you have the dhana, whatever, you have the wealth and everything. You should definitely attempt to get everybody together and become the Chakravartin. So he seeks Krishna's counsel. Krishna says, sabke saath to ho jayega, but there is this one person. As long as he is alive, Jayadratha, you cannot become the Chakravartin because one, he's too strong. And because he's so strong, everybody supports him also, right? So they are not going to come on your side. They will fight on his side only. But if you eliminate him, already you are sending a message that how strong you are, and anyways, he will not be there to oppose you. But you cannot fight him in a war. Because war में तो वो आपको हरा देगा.
मैं शी जिनपिंग की सोच रही हूँ. Anyway, okay.
So then he says we should do Niti, and Arjun or Bhim और वो सब जाते हैं in disguise and they challenge Jayadratha on a one-on-one, right? And they kill Jayadratha. But what do they do after that? Because obviously the people of Magad are going to be angry, right? कि ये क्या है, हमारे राजा को मार दिया, गुस्सा होंगे. But what do? Who do they crown the king? Sahadev, who's the son of Jayadratha. So again, now this Sahadev, he has already seen your strength, right? And he is going to be friendly towards you because you've given him the Rajya. So you have made an ally, and actually Sahadev of Magadh fights on the side of the Pandavas in the war. So this is the other way, where you have a war, but how do you then make peace? By ensuring whoever is the next Raja, you have a good
Succession
relationship with
battle
him.
and those kind of things.
Yeah.
Okay, as we end, let me just come to ego, stubbornness, deceit, all play roles in wars and
Yeah.
all are acceptable, isn't it? किसी के ego को बढ़ाना, किसी के stubbornness का
फायदा उठाना,
फायदा
correct?
उठाना, all these things. So nothing is wrong in this. Strategic restraint, strategic ambiguity, terms that we are seeing right now used in Operation Sindoor, they were all relevant even in those yugas.
Absolutely. Bhed. So as I said, right? Bhishma says, which is a better kind of a yuddha? He says a yuddha, or rather a victory, which is through a direct war. It is Jaghanya. It is second level. It is a lower victory. A victory without fighting a war through bhed. So how do you overpower your opponent or your enemy without fighting a war? That will be through bhed, which is strategy, niti, whatever you call it, right? Now, how is that possible? Only if you somehow manufacture, say, dissent over there. Somehow get people to come on your side and eliminate those who are not on your side, right? Unknown gunmen. I think that is even a better example. You suddenly, we don't know, something somehow has happened and this guy is top code.
Yeah.
Because there is no other way that Pakistan will capture them, right? Or what Mossad has done, the way they took down Hezbollah,
The pagers.
10 years plus the planning is going on. The spies are in the system for years. What is this? This is a victory without a war. So I'm talking about the pre-Iran war, right? So then after that, even a war happens, you've already weakened them so much. So per the Niti Shastra, as far as possible, use bhed, use sam. If अगर प्यार से मान जाते हैं तो nothing like it, right? पैसा से मान जाते हैं nothing like it. नहीं तो भेद करो. In fact, what they say is भेद तो करते ही रहना चाहिए. Even if your opponent is stronger than you. So if your opponent is stronger than you, you will not fight them. At least you will not initiate a war, obviously, right? But that doesn't mean you do nothing, he says, Bhishma says. What should you do? You should keep something boiling. वहाँ के यूनिवर्सिटीज़ को सबोटाज करो, वहाँ के इंटेलेक्चुअल्स को सबोटाज करो, अमन की आशा चलाओ, कुछ ना कुछ. बेसिकली पाकिस्तान डिड दैट बेटर. द 1000 cuts का जो उनका था कि नेवर अलाउ, वी वर स्ट्रॉन्गर देन देम, नेवर अलाउ पीस, break it from inside. When it breaks from inside, you win, right? This is actually what our ancestors have told us. This is the best way. And what did we do? Now things have changed. We sabotaged our own intelligence operations. What we hear about one of our VPs doing in Iran and all of that, right? Years ago. RAW का जो पूरा system sabotage करने वाले हमारे खुद के लोग हैं.
Black Ops को बंद करना.
हाँ.
That, yeah. Now, finally, the question on when to stop operations, in the sense that when does a war end? What you were saying is that a war never ends if you've decided कि वो शत्रु है. Once you've given that title, that is also very important. To establish that that one is enemy or not is a first step. Once you've established कि ये शत्रु है, उसके बाद a full-out war you stop at one point,
Right.
but 1000 cuts continues post-war too, right? So Operation Sindoor, not ceasefire, but cessation of hostilities is
Right.
what we are told.
Yes.
So cessation of hostilities ke status mein bleeding by 1000 cuts also happens, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
See, what happens is, you asked when do you end a war. Now, if it's a natural shatru, you can never drop your guard. वो तो कभी नहीं होने वाला है, because they will keep coming back, right? वो तो करते ही रहेंगे. So you have to ensure that there is a deterrence, and that deterrence is shown every single time. उसके बाद वो कम होगा. But does that mean you have to keep fighting? Because what happens, again we are told that sometimes if you are so much into fighting that war consumes you only. टू बी ऑनेस्ट पाकिस्तान में जो हम लोगों की वगैरह बात करते हैं, why are they in this situation? Because the army is so strong and it
they
is
have
an
nothing else.
incentive for the army to keep fighting, right? That is what has taken them down. So when do you stop is when you realize where is it that you are able to now say, okay, this much losses I can take. If I take more than that, it will harm my economy, it will harm my objectives. So what is your end goal? That is important.
And choose wisely what
Choose
your
wisely.
battles are.
Absolutely.
You can't just आज इस पे मैं react करूँगा, कल उस पे
Absolutely.
मैं react करूँगा. So choose wisely, and even if there is if within your praja, if somebody turns around and says, "Arey, this is bad enough. Now you need to go to war." The Raja has to decide what is a provocation enough
Correct.
to go to war, because there
Correct.
is too much to lose in
Absolutely.
this. Okay, finally, one question. What is Itihasa? What is mythology? Which I'm sure you've answered many times. So, because we've talked so much about this, so what is historical? What is mythological? What is legend? How do you separate these?
So itihas is very simple. Itihas is purva vruttam kathayuktam. This is a definition given to us. What has definitely happened in the past, narrated to us in a story format. Now, when it is narrated to us in a story format, there might be some exaggerations, there might be some metaphors and stuff. But by and large, the core story has definitely happened. The characters are all there. Remove the mysticism, but probably the story has happened. And it has a purpose to teach us the lessons of life from the life of our ancestors. So in that sense, it's a case study of our life, a case study of the life of our ancestors for us. In the Hindu scriptural literature, only two books are called Itihas, Valmiki Ramayana and Ved Vyas Rachit Mahabharat. The other characteristic is that those who have composed those Itihas were actually alive when it was going on. They are contemporary to it. Okay. Only these two texts actually fulfill that. It is not as if बाद में किसी कोर्ट पोएट ने लिखा, ऐसे नहीं है. The persons were involved or were there at that time. Mythology, unlike what people think of it as mithya, it is not mithya in that sense कि it is all false. ऐसा नहीं है. Mythology means a belief system of a group of people. May be true, may not be true, but that is not the purpose. The purpose is Shraddha and life lessons. It also has life lessons. It also has some itihas. So, for example, I would put the Pauranic literature, if I have to, in the larger definition of mythology, not as the false thing. But if you see what happens in the Pauranic literature, there is definitely some itihas because they talk about lineages of Rajas who were on planet Earth. But beyond that, it has a personal god more often, right? You have Shiva Puran, Vishnu Puran, all of that. The stories revolve around that personal god to make that personal god larger than life because the purpose is bhakti. It will have stories of bhaktas. It will have theories of creation and all of that and some itihas as well. But by and large, it is about something that is happening at the cosmic level. Devasur Sangram, right? True or not true, we will never know. It is a matter of Shraddha, the theology part of it, which can be called mythology. Like the legends, the Greek legends and all that you have, they all will fall under mythology.
Mythology, okay.
Now, again, it goes back to, so for example, if I am a Vaishnav, then for me, say Vishnu Puran or Bhagavad Puran is as much as history as anybody else, right? But for somebody who's a Shaiva and there are conflicting stories, he may not accept it and doesn't accept it, doesn't matter. It is a matter of your Shraddha. But for Ramayana, Valmiki Ramayana and Ved Vyasji's Mahabharat, nobody can say, oh, it's a matter of your Shraddha. No. At least our rishis are very clear that this is itihas. It has happened. So if you want the whys or hows, then you have to go back to the itihas to learn because the purpose of itihas is to teach us the lessons of life from the life of our ancestors.
Okay. It's been such a fascinating conversation. Just like, to bring it back to present and past, because I just feel that one learns so much from looking at our past.
Absolutely.
And it's such a... When you read, does that happen? Do you often...
Very often, especially the second part when I was writing of Mahabharata, which is all on dharma discourses, you start making these connections so much more. Because he talks about what strategy. Usually, हमारे मन में क्या है कि it is very idealistic. It's not. It's very practical. And you almost feel like, why don't we refer to these texts the way the Chinese have the art of war?
Yeah.
Right? And if you see the Chinese strategy, See, China had one war with us. Then this Chotu Motu Doklam and वगैरह जाने दो. Have they ever gone out on a full-fledged war with us or anybody else? But what do? The bhed is always there. From be it Australia to be it Portugal to be it Africa to be it US. US में भी fund डाला है. Labs में उनका काम चलता है. They have media which will keep talking in their favor.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
All this is bhed. Or what the smaller countries like say Qatar and all are doing. They are never going to be able to fight a full-fledged war. How do you then ensure your interests are getting are taken care of? If you read
This is something that intelligence should do at a continuous basis.
Absolutely.
Not with one Shatru, but
everybody.
multiple. Yeah.
So Bhishma, in fact, Vidur also says that spying केवल शत्रु का नहीं करना है, मित्र का भी करना है, बाहर वालों का नहीं करना है, अपने वालों का भी करना है. So we have neutrals, allies and shatrus. Yeah. So this categorization. Now we are told that ऐसा नहीं है कि your friend will always be your friend.
Yeah.
Interest might change.
Competitor
ruler
बन
might
सकते हैं
change.
वो.
Competitor बन सकते हैं.
Business में भी हो सकता है.
So you have to always be on the guard. Keep assessing who is who and never drop your guard. Friend है तो नहीं किया ऐसे नहीं. They are told, because तभी तो राजाशाही था ना, even your sons should be under surveillance. आपको पता होना चाहिए कि चल क्या रहा है. Yeah.
Okay. On that note, thank you so much. It's been absolutely brilliant conversation I've had with you and so much of gyan. Thank you so much. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming.
I
Thank
love
you.
the connections you were making and making it live.
Yeah, it was just coming spontaneously, frankly. Thank you so much. Thanks
Thank
a lot.
you.
Thank you for watching or listening to this edition of the ANI podcast with Smita Prakash. Do like or subscribe on whichever channel you have seen this or heard this. Namaste. Jai Hind. Click here to watch the previous episodes.